welcome back. We always appreciate when our local law enforcement leaders take the time to come visit us at 7 News and talk about what's being done to keep your communities safe. And today is no exception. We are very happy to welcome back to our studio Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis. Chief, thank you so much for being with us. And we have a big topic. We teased it before the break. This Venezuelan prison gang. We're seeing a lot about this on TV, social media. A new memo warning that gang is expanding. It exists across the country and expanding now into our region, D.C., Virginia. Talk to us about what you're seeing.
Well, it probably shouldn't surprise anyone that TDA, that's the name of this Venezuelan prison gang, for lack of a better description, has made their way to this region. They've made their way to several big city metropolitan areas across the country. We actually encountered them a few days ago when they were committing retail theft in Fairfax County. So that's how we came across them. They weren't necessarily committing traditional gang-related crimes, extortion, aggravated assault, robberies, but they were stealing. So we've identified them. We're working with federal and local partners to figure out what else is going on with TDA, but they're here. We have a full-time gang unit in Fairfax County. That's something we're really proud of, and they do tremendous work both with our local prosecutors and with the U.S. attorneys assigned to the Eastern District of Virginia as well. So we're on top of it, but there's a lot of work to be done.
So this gang is on our radar specifically right now.
On our radar and top of the list.
Truly well.
But we're not seeing any violence associated with them yet. We want to keep it that way. But certainly we're kind of in prevention mode, identification and prevention mode right now. No violence has visited us thanks to their presence, and we want to do our best to keep it that way.
Thank you, Chief. And then this is such a sad story. This is out of Chantilly. A 3-year-old hit and killed by, I believe, a truck. This happened over the weekend. I mean, it gets dark very early. I'm not sure exactly what time this happened, but what do you want the public to know about this?
Well, it's tragic. A 3-year-old little boy named Hugo was struck and killed. The truck is a landscaping type truck with the dually tires on the back, right in front of the little boy's home, where the parents were inside, brothers and sisters and other children were in the neighborhood. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. So we're investigating the crash. So we'll have more on that in the future. But right now we're working with the family and that community hand in glove to see what we can do to provide for them while they're going through this terribly difficult moment. I think the tentative plans for a funeral have been announced on a GoFundMe page. So we're doing all we can. It's an unimaginable thing to happen to a family. So our hearts go out to them and that entire community that came out for them. They're all grieving, and we're grieving with them.
It's just so sad. Our hearts go out to that family. This just sounds like a freak accident.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. We're investigating it, and we'll figure all that out. But in the meantime, we're doing our best to help this family.
I'm so sorry, Chief. Thank you. And also in Chantilly, this is a very unusual case. We had this last week on 7 News. You're searching for 2 suspects. They stole a dog from a store, and I think we have the pictures. We want to put those up for you. You're still looking for these 2 individuals. Anything unusual that we can take away from this photo, Chief?
Megan, they're relatively well dressed. Certainly they made their way inside the PetSmart, and they gained access to handle that dog. It's a multi-doodle. I'm probably going to botch that.
But, one of those,
It's a designer type little dog.
Yes.
Those dogs probably sell for a couple $1,000s, but they accessed the dog and they got their hands on him or her and walked out. So that's something. It's not a trend or a pattern that we're seeing, but anytime something like this happens, it garners community attention. Typically you see it on the street where someone will be approached while they're out with the dog. This one's a little bit different because they went into a pet store seemingly well dressed, and maybe that got the guard down of the employees there who were just doing their job and letting some potential buyer handle the dog. And so anybody who knows where this puppy is, please give us a call. We do want to ensure that he or she is safe.
Very unusual. And we want to talk now about, this is a crime spree of sorts. This is out of Springfield. This was a group of teens. They were tied to a gun store robbery and then a number of other crimes. Those teens are in custody. What are you looking at in this specific case that was brought?
So these teenagers and their kids, the youngest one was actually 13 years old, got their hands on a stolen car. They stole the car in Fairfax County. They rammed it directly into a gun store and stole 14 guns, handguns, long guns. And then, the question is, well, what do people do when they get their hands on those firearms? And in this particular case, with this particular group, they went on a crime spree and they committed robberies, abductions, aggravated assaults. We have recovered, I think, 8 of the 14 firearms, so there's 6 more out there, and we're working with our regional partners because we believe that they were involved in crimes outside of Fairfax County throughout the region. So again, something terribly went wrong in their lives to be a teenager and to commit that type of bold and brazen crime. It's really something else. So they're in custody, and hopefully that one day they can turn into productive adults, but in the meantime they have to be held accountable for what they did.
Thank you. I was just going to say 13.
Yeah,
When you hear that, that's 13 years old. That's a child. Truly.
They're all children, and hopefully that they can turn their lives around. But what they did was really dangerous, and then they hurt people, and that's what the community wants the police to intervene, and we did just that. So I'm proud of our detectives for the way they handled it, and more to come.
Thank you, Chief. And we want to touch base on a milestone, 2 years now since we have had in place in Fairfax County license plate readers. This is something anytime maybe technology is used to capture any data, anything. Sometimes the public gets worried. Big Brother. You've spoken on this. Walk us through the success you've seen so far, and what is done with that data after it's collected.
So I think the community, elected officials, advocates understand now that this is data-informed policing. So we put these license plate readers, and they're not yesteryear's license plate readers. They can pick out color, make, model, defects on the vehicle, and we put them in areas where data tells us there are more crime victims. So that's smart policing. And the cameras direct police attention to areas where cars are stolen, carjackings, abductions, even missing persons. We've recovered a couple plus dozen missing persons, critical missing persons, because they've been in vehicles, and we put the vehicle into this license plate reader system that's actually flock safety. So just think of a license plate reader system that does more than just read the license plate. So most people who witness crimes or are victims of crimes when a car is involved in the crime really don't have the wherewithal to remember the entire tag. Sometimes they'll just tell us it was a white 4-door sedan. So we can put a white 4-door sedan into our flock safety license plate reader program, and it will search for that vehicle in public spaces, public roadways, public highways. So we're not in people's backyards or in their homes. We're in places where criminals are often very transient in nature, and we're able to enjoy a lot of successes. So it takes, it puts some smart policing in play, and that's what the community tells us they want. They want us to be better informed. They want us to be able to explain why we deploy our resources and where we deploy our resources. So I think this is a win for everybody.
Thank you, Chief. And I know we have an article speaking about the built-in accountability with that system. If folks want to read more, that is up on WJLA.com. As always, Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis. Chief, thank you so much for joining us here on 7 News.